Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, how do I fix my commander deck? Commander decks are very easy to build and certainly fun to play, but what happens when you build a commander deck that just isn't getting there? How do you identify what's not working and fix it? How do you identify which cards are not doing their job and which ones should be put in their place? This is no easy task, as there are endless possibilities of potential inclusions and combinations. There is nothing more frustrating than putting a lot of time and effort into a sweet concept for a commander deck, only to find that that deck just isn't working. Worse, it's often difficult to know what exactly is wrong with your deck, let alone determine how to fix it. I mean, you've got 99 individual cards in your list. How do you know which cards are the problem? Is it even a problem with your deck at all, or are you making a mistake in gameplay? Or is it just bad luck? Well, if it's happening a lot, it's probably not just bad luck. In this video, I will be helping you to solve those problems, or rather, I'll be helping 3 of you who submitted deck lists that they wanted to see me fix. But I think this is of great value and interest to everyone because there is a lot to learn about how to fix your own deck by seeing another deck get tuned. And maybe the next time we do this, it'll be your deck that Jesse and I and the rest of the Tolarian Community College team tune up. More information is on our Discord at discord.gg/Tolarian Community College. The Tolarian Community College Discord is a great community to be a part of, and we have a 100% free Looking for Games section if you like to get webcam games of Commander or, well, any format. For today, though, we'll be looking at 3 submissions that came to us on Blue Sky. These decks are promising on paper, but just haven't worked out in practice. In this video, I'll discuss what each deck is trying to do, highlight the things it's already doing well, then dig into what's wrong and how to make it right. I'm not going to go over every possible situation in this video, but instead, I'm going to talk about categories of cards that I'm swapping out. But the complete deck lists for both the original submitted version and the new Prof-approved deck are linked in this video's description. So welcome to Prof Fixes Your Deck. The first deck we're going to be taking a look at is, hello, fellow investors! Alms for the poor? Alms for the poor? Don't be silly, you've got not 1 but 2 perfectly good arms right now, and wait a second, is that Legally Distinct Board Game Man? Is that you? What happened? Did the new secret lair not sell? Not only that, no one bought Spider-Man or Ninja Turtles. We only made a few $1 billion. I'm broke. I'm ruined. What's more, with the state of the economy, all of the normals don't go on vacations anymore. All of our hotels are going empty. Our houses on Boardwalk and Park Place are unsold. Oh, it's terrible. How am I supposed to afford solid silver boots and thimbles with no money and no marketable skills to retrain? Well, my incredibly parasitic capitalist friend, have you ever considered funding those boots by learning to code with boot.dev? Boot.dev? Is that a new secret layer? Boot.dev is an online learning platform that teaches back-end web development and programming, which are skills that are great for getting a job in software development. This is an industry with positions that often pay up to 6 figures a year, and it can all start with boot.dev. Wow, that's way more than $200, which is what half a box of Magic cards costs now. That's mathematically accurate. By gamifying the learning process, boot.dev makes it fun and easy to learn programming languages like Python, SQL, and Go. You can earn XP, level up, unlock achievements, and complete quests, all while training for a career in programming. Will it help me to get out of jail for free? Asking for a friend. No, but it is available to view for free. You can read and watch all the content you want. It's the hands-on programming, progress tracking, and game mechanics that are unlocked if you decide to purchase premium. And if you do decide to go premium, you can use my code Tolarian to get 25% off your entire first year of the annual plan. Just follow the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get started on boot.dev today. Wow, thank you, boot.dev! Now I can upgrade all of the websites for my properties and charge even more for rent. Wait, no, that's horrible. You're horrible. Who let this guy in here? One of the biggest problems I see with commander decks that aren't working is a lack of focus. Ideally, nearly every card in your 99 should actively contribute to your commander's game plan. You may include a few of the more generic best-in-class cards, of course, such as Premier Interaction or Game Changers, but by and large, in order to make the cut in your 99, a card needs to have strong synergy with your commander. The first deck we'll discuss today is a prime example of this. This is a very sweet deck sent to us by Sophie, whose @ on Blue Sky is Undead Inside. Awesome name, by the way. Garnet is a 2-mana 2/2 with lifelink that reads, whenever Garnet attacks, you may remove a lore counter from any number of sagas you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on Garnet for each lore counter removed this way. The game plan for Garnet is to play out sagas and then use the combat step to not only add +1/+1 counters, but to keep your sagas in play perpetually, re-triggering their early chapters over and over again to accrue continual value. Summon Fenrir, for instance, will tutor up a land every time Garnet pulls it back to its first chapter, a play that was one of the best 2-card synergies in Final Fantasy Limited. In this way, Garnet marries a saga-centric deck with a Voltron strategy. But while she's getting bigger and racking up the commander damage, she's also accruing more and more value from your sagas. Sophie's Garnet deck already plays a lot of the best sagas to pair with Garnet. In addition to Summon Fenrir, she's got potent removal spells like Elspeth Conquers Death and a Johnny Fells the Godsire. Zeus's Many Journeys keeps an exploration effect in play every turn, while Birth of Meletus tutors up basic planes and pumps out walls to keep you protected. She's also running a card I absolutely love with Garnet, Reconnaissance, a 1-mana enchantment that keeps Garnet protected in combat. After she attacks and pulls off her combat trigger, you can use Reconnaissance to remove her from combat if you're worried about her dying to big blockers. But here's where the deck falters. Sophie is only running 16 sagas in her deck list. There are a couple other cards with activated abilities that flip them into sagas, Dion, Bahamut's Dominant, and Crystal Fragments, but there are many powerful sagas available to a Selesnya deck that aren't currently in the 99. Instead, there are a lot of cards that have little, if anything, to do with Garnet's saga-centric game plan. For instance, this deck is running a Knight Kindred package, with cards like Kinsbale Cavalier and Knight Exemplar, which are obviously intended to boost the knights generated by cards like History of Benalia and Summon Knights of Round. That's a nice synergy when it comes together, but it's not reliable enough to be worth the space in the deck list. Garnet herself isn't a knight, and unless you draw the one of Paladin's arm in the list, she'll stay that way. I recommend cutting this package entirely to make room for more focused inclusions. Looking further, I see that many cards in the list have nothing to do with Garnet's saga-centric plan at all. Westfold Rider and Winter's Grasp, for instance, are just generic interactive spells. Early Harvest can sometimes get you a boost of mana, but I would much rather play another saga in that spot. Even some of the more synergistic inclusions are still weaker than other options. One-off protection spells like Defend the Rider and Dauntless Bodyguard are less reliable than protection that can defend Garnet turn after turn. Equipment Matters cards like Pure Steel Paladin and Steel Shaper's Gift are not as useful as Enchantment Matters cards, which aren't in the list right now. And high-cost historic synergy cards like Joyrus Familiar and Thran's Temporal Gateway are worse than similar cards that cost less mana. So with all that being said, let's look at what we're adding. There are truly so many great sagas in green and white that the original list omits. The Weatherseed Treaty does the same thing that Summon Fenrir does, even better really, because its Chapter 2 is more relevant than Summon Fenrir's. The Restoration of Eiganjo provides redundancy with Birth of Meletus and even works as a de facto ramp with its Chapter 2. There are tons of interactive sagas that are worth including. Fall of Lord Konda, The Princess Takes Flight, The Legend of Yang Chen, and The Battle at the Hellvault. And at the top of the curve, The Legend of Kyoshi, Summon Good King Mog, and Summon Magus Sisters are all great ways to accrue tons of value turn after turn after turn. For protection, I much prefer repeatable or static protection rather than one-off protection spells. The trio of Mother of Runes, Giver of Runes, and Skrelv Defector Might are all fantastic turn 1 plays to curve into Garnet. Lightning Greaves is also great with Garnet, especially later in the game when you want to cast her and attack on the same turn. Don't worry about the Shroud, you won't be targeting her much, since her Voltron ability is innate and takes the form of +1/+1 counters instead of equipment or auras. Key to the City and Brotherhood's Regalia make Garnet straight up unblockable, which protects her in combat and means she'll be dealing 21 commander damage to your hapless opponents in no time. If you want another of this effect, Whisper Silk Cloak is also solid, if a bit expensive. The last major adjustment I'd make is bolstering the deck's Enchantress themes. After all, sagas are also enchantments. Jukai Naturalist, Herald of the Pantheon, and Starfield Mystic are all better at reducing the cost of your sagas than Joyra's Familiar, since they cost half as much at the start. Destiny Spinner makes your commander and all her sagas encounterable. Composer of Spring and Sanctum Weaver are enchantment-based ramp cards at 2 mana, much more effective than Arcane Signet or Letter of Acceptance. And the card draw engines of Enchantress's Presence and Satyr Enchanter are both welcome additions to the list, keeping the cards flowing well into the end game. Now, whereas that Selesnya Garnet deck didn't lean hard enough into its specific theme, this next deck is one that actually could stand to back off a little bit from the baseline game plan of the commander. Urtimus, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, sent in an Iroh Grand Lotus deck. They said that the deck felt too slow, dying to faster decks by turn 8. To use their words, they hardly get any time to quote Uncle Iroh. Oh no, we gotta fix this. For those unfamiliar, Iroh Grand Lotus is an exceptionally sweet lessons/spellslinger commander in Temur colors. He costs 6 mana, but he makes up for this steep cost with an awesome effect. Each lesson in your graveyard gets flashback for 1 mana on your turn, while each non-lesson gets flashback for its regular mana cost, also on your turn. In other words, Iroh is a static Past in Flames effect that particularly rewards you for running lots of lessons. Now, this deck does a lot of things right already. Most of the good lessons, such as Accumulate Wisdom and Combustion Technique, are present. There are also some nice non-lessons Spellslinger payoffs, like Talran, Sky Summoner, and Rite of the Dragon Caller. I love Elemental Eruption as a storm finisher, and there are plenty of good enablers and payoffs for casting spells from the graveyard. Cards like Root Coil Creeper, Burning Vengeance, and Nirdiv Devious Diver. That said, looking at the list, I see why this deck struggles to keep up with some of the other decks in its pod. Many of the lessons included currently are pretty low impact, seemingly only in the deck list because of the type line lesson. Introduction to Prophecy, for instance, is totally unplayable when cast for its front half. In the graveyard, it's like Preordain, which is a good card, but why not play actual Preordain instead? That also costs 1 mana in the yard, and it costs 1 mana from hand as well. Basic Conjuration, Illuminate History, and Elemental Teachings are all pretty weak cards for their mana cost. Solstice Revelations is a terrible card outside of a mono-red deck, and honestly isn't even that good in mono-red. And Sokka's Haiku is overcosted as a counterspell and doesn't even synergize with Iroh's Flashback. It's a counterspell, so only being castable on your turn mostly neutralizes its efficacy. There are also a lot of lessons payoffs that are too low impact to be worth running in Commander. Cards like Leaves from the Vine, Zhong the Deserter, and the Lion Turtle. There are, in general, more avatar cards in the list than warrant inclusion from a power level or synergy standpoint. Yes, it's nice to have a Zuko somewhere alongside his uncle, but none of the Zukos, including the Firebending Master in this list, fit the game plan. Likewise, Bender's Waterskin provides a kind of ramp that's not useful when you'll be casting most of your spells on your turn. Moving away from the lessons cards, several of the Spellslinger payoffs in the list are too low impact for my taste. The various pingers like Kessig Flame Breather and Guttersnipe are totally fine cards, but I would rather make creatures when I cast spells than deal direct damage. That's because creatures help clog up the board with blockers to keep you alive longer. Finally, this deck does not run enough lands. With a 6-mana commander that provides as much value as Iroh does, you should be running 36 lands minimum. So let's talk about what to add. First of all, there are lots of good lessons that aren't included in the list as of now. Cheap interaction like Firebending Lesson, Boomerang Basics, and Iroh's Demonstration are all must-includes in a list like this. I also like How to Start a Riot as a way to deal a ton of damage out of nowhere in tandem with your creature generators. For 4 mana, this gives your whole team a +4/+0. Given Iroh costs 6 mana, we really need to run more ramp, ideally at 2 mana. The quartet of Rampant Growth, Farseek, Nature's Lore, and 3 Visits complement the shared roots already in the list quite nicely. To replace the weaker Spellslinger cards, we'll add some stronger ones. Gran, yeah, Gran, absolutely deserves a home in this list, and that's because of her looting and cost reduction capabilities. Third Path Iconoclast, Archmage of Runes, and Stormkiln Artist are all exceptional Spellslinger cards, filling a wide range of valuable roles. There are several good card draw and card selection spells that aren't lessons but are still worth including. Preordain and Ponder as cantrips, Flow State and Expressive Iteration as 2 mana card draw, and Gifts Ungiven and Fact or Fiction at 4 mana. As for winning the game, I'd love to see more Storm payoffs. Chatterstorm and Empty the Warrens are awesome ways to get a huge board out of nowhere. With all the token generation, Song of Totentaz, cast for a single red mana, lets you also swing with that wide board out of nowhere. Grape Shot can be a win condition if players are low enough life totals, but more realistically, this is a 2 mana board wipe that only kills your opponent's creatures. And Thousand Year Storm gives all your other spells Pseudo Storm. And to boost your land count, I recommend adding the 2 new enemy color Tango lands in your colors, Scorched Geyser and Sodden Verdure. I'd also add Waterlogged Grove and Fiery Islet, as these are good untapped duels that also turn into card draw engines when you have Toph, hard-headed teacher in play. Next, I want to look at a deck that's already in really good shape but could still use a few tweaks in specific areas. Judith, the Scourge Diva, a red-black deck ironically submitted by Blue Mage 76, whose handle is also Blue Mage 76 on Blue Sky. Wow, so much blue, but I can see why they want to run Judith as their commander. Judith is a great Rakdos Aristocrats commander for 3 mana. She's a 2/2 that gives your other creatures +1/+0. She also deals 1 damage to any target when a non-token creature you control dies. Despite how many auto-includes exist for the archetype, Aristocrats decks are actually some of the decks players misbuild most often. That's not just a simple case of deck builder error. The archetype is really hard to balance. You are essentially building 3 card engines: Sacrifice Outlets, Sacrifice Fodder, and Sacrifice Payoffs. Many of the components to these engines are redundant with one another, as in, if you have 1 copy of them, you don't really need another copy. Once you have a Viscera Seer in play, drawing a Woe Strider is a real bad beat. On top of this, many of the things that other commander decks want, ramp, spot removal, sweepers, are much less important than they are in other archetypes. With Judith specifically, you have a repeatable removal spell in the command zone. That covers your bases extremely well, especially in tandem with Death Touch granters like Basilisk Collar, a fantastic inclusion already in this deck list. In fact, Blue Mage's deck already has most of what you want in an Aristocrats deck. Great sack outlets like Goblin Bombardment, Viscera Seer, and Ashnod's Altar. Great payoffs like Blood Artist, Midnight Reaper, and Pitiless Plunderer. And good repeatable sack fodder like Blood-Soaked Champion, Reassembling Skeleton, and Forsaken Miner. Oh, I just love Forsaken Miner, especially with Judith, since she commits a crime every time she pings something, making Forsaken Miner a repeatable machine gun effect with the sack outlet in play, one that goes infinite once you have Pitiless Plunderer. That said, there are some simple yet meaningful problems with the deck list. The first, and by far the most important, is that the deck is running tons of mana rocks. It absolutely, unequivocally should not be running any ramp besides Soul Ring, which is too powerful to not include. The commander costs 3 mana, so you don't need to ramp into her. And your deck is so low to the ground and has so many moving parts that it's a significant tempo loss to spend time casting mana rocks instead of curving out with your necessary synergy pieces. There's also a lot more interaction than the deck needs. Again, Judith is interaction. Specifically, I don't think you need to play more than 1 or 2 sweepers. Nev's Disc, Crux of Fate, and Damnation are all overkill when you could just suit up Judith with a basilisk collar and mow down your opponent's creatures. Finally, I would recommend cutting a lot of the weaker synergy pieces and the cards that have no synergy at all. Sack outlets like Nantuko Husk, Falconroth Aristocrat, Gregor Gargadon, and Immerstrom Predator are a lot less useful than some of the synergy cards we're going to be adding. Bitter Blossom is a fantastic token generator in any other deck, but Judith specifically wants you to be sacrificing non-token creatures. One last, less important thing. I'd add another land since we're cutting the mana rocks. I'd also swap out the desert cycling lands for their non-desert 1-mana counterparts, Barren Moor and Forgotten Cave. As for what to add, well, I've included a whopping 18 powerful high synergy cards to the deck list. Gravecrawler is an excellent recursive sack fodder, provided you have a zombie, of course. Bloodghast, Timeline Color, and Cult Conscript also fill this role. Plum the Forbidden, Deadly Dispute, and Liliana Dreadhorde General provide tons of additional card draw. Grave Pact and Dictate of Erebos keep your opponent's board totally clear, which also remove the need for as much spot removal. Dissection Tools is another sack outlet that doubles as an additional death touch granter for Judith. Warren Soul Trader is one of the best new sack outlets printed in recent years, going infinite on its own with Gravecrawler if you have a way to mitigate the life loss. I'd also love to get a Phyrexian Altar in the deck list if you're willing to drop $50 or proxy it, though I'd completely understand omitting that one for price reasons. It's absurd how expensive that card is. The inclusion of Demonic Tutor in the list already suggests that this is intended to be a bracket 3 deck. Given that, I'd love to add another tutor, either Gamble or Vampiric, as well as a Bolas's Citadel, which is an exceptional source of card advantage and a way to deal a ton of damage in tandem with Blood Artist effects. Commander deck building is an extremely difficult skill to master. There are a lot of right ways to build a deck, but there are also a lot of wrong ways to do it, at least if your goal is to have a functional deck that's capable of winning its fair share of games. The biggest takeaways are making sure your list is cohesive and synergistic with your commander, learning when to eschew synergy in favor of generically powerful cards that still help you enact your game plan, and cutting all the mana rocks from your low-curve decks, especially those with commanders that cost 3 mana or less. If you'd like to see your deck featured in a future video, be sure to keep an eye out at the Tolarian Community College Discord server by joining at discord.gg/Tolarian Community College. We have a 100% free Looking for Games section, and it's where I'm going to open up announcements for the next round of Prof Fixes Your Deck. And if you're actually interested in seeing me play a game of Commander, be sure to check out the most recent episode of Shuffle Up and Play, where I play Commander with none other than Gabriel Luna, Joe Johnson, and Louis Stardust. It's an extraordinary game, and I hope that you will enjoy it as much as I enjoyed playing it. Linked in this video's description or just by clicking that I thing. And thank you once again to Sophie, Erdemus, and Blue Mage for submitting your decks, and thank you as well to the many Magic the Gathering players who sent in their decks on Blue Sky for possible selection as well. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I want to do many more. Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
I've got a very special deck. This was a plot, a scheme rather.
Our lead director came up to me before shooting and just said, "Prof, just go with it when you see it. Don't start frowning, just go with it, please." They've been trying to troll me with this shit for a month now. They've been going on and on about it, and I don't know what this deck is.
Llanowar Elves.
Oh,
the classic.
6th edition. Your turn.
Oh,
Sixth edition.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna flash in Gandalf. This is a
Okay,
card art.
fuck that card. That was the one in the secret layer where it was like 42 cents worth of cards.
So I got loot.
Oh, you got loot too.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, loot times 2 is 6.
I think I'm starting to hate what you hate.
Yeah.
All of this looks crazy.
You must have just subscribed to Tolarian Community College.
I think
I am literally going to shuffle up and
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm at 5 time counters, just
Be
so
careful.
you know.
Prof doesn't misplay.
That's right.
Prof does bad plays.
That's like the underside of a female pig.
I'm not even mad. This episode is probably never going to air. I don't even care. How much Magic 30 did you buy?
I don't want to talk about it.
Do I look like I care? I'll just pick a fucking card.
Shut up! Let me ask you this, idiot!
How much better does Soul Ring make, Batman?
This is the kind of. You can do it.
Land the shot.
Smash it. Ooh. Oh my god.
It's the most fucked up card I've ever seen in my life. I have no idea how it works.
I think I'm losing my mind.
When
Jordan's
Captain
on.
America throws his mighty
I was gonna say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I passed.
Cut that out. Go ahead.
I passed.
No, cut it out. We can
I
edit
don't
it
care
out.
anymore.
Go ahead.
I don't care.
Do it.
It's your turn, 6 boy.
I thought. Oh.